Says it's sending data. Yeah, D-Live's going, Twitch is going, Facebook Above Ground's going, Periscope is going, the Float app is going, and both YouTube channels. So we're ready to roll. Now if I can bring my broadcaster back up, we'll jump into this. So it looks like there was no survivors left on the volcano, and we're going to get into that. But man, there's some strange signs before these things happen, and we'll get into them here in just a second. Let me see if I can bring in this video real quick that I just screen captured. It's actually what we're looking at now, but it'll go a lot easier if I can bring that in. Then we'll jump into a few headlines, and then we'll get into the rest of the show. New Zealand police say there is no survivors from the White Island volcano eruption. Fears for Australia tourists. And ovation of the seas cruise ship passengers. Around 50 tourists and guides were believed to have been on the tiny island off the east coast of the North Island when it erupted around 2:11 p.m. local time, blasting plumes of white smoke, ash, and debris about 12,000 feet up into the sky. 23 of the survivors were taken off the island by rescuers after the eruption. 5 of them died. An experienced tour guide is the first of the victims to be identified. Of those died, his brother Mark confirmed on social media. You know, the thing is, man, this thing has been ramping up since like December 2nd. I just went and looked, and I went back, and this thing has been erupting since the 2nd. It just had the major burst yesterday. And I noticed there's a lot of volcanoes going off right now, right as we speak, which we're going to get into that. So I do have all these links, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin these links after the show right in the comments. I'll pin all the links right after the show, and I'll put it right into the chat on YouTube. So if you're on the other platforms, you'll have to come to YouTube if you're wanting any of the links. I'm sure everybody's already seen the footage. I'm not going to play the footage. We got plenty of pictures we can look at here. I mean, you got to know, if you're going to an active volcano, man, your chance of being burned up is pretty, you know, you're putting that in God's hands right there. So, pretty crazy. Oh, was that a chemtrail up in the sky? Look at that off and on spraying. Other anomalies in the sky, you know, around these volcanoes. Always. There's always signs in the skies. And that's why we watch the skies so much. Because they don't lie. Anyway, let's jump out of that one. Hope everybody's doing all right out there. Well, hey, I'm just going by what they're saying. They're saying nobody survived. I mean, I got 3-4 articles here that are saying that. I mean, I'm not there. I don't know. Who knows if they even know? The people that made it back to the ship didn't die. Yeah, there's so many articles on this coming out saying that nobody is alive or they can't get in there. So here's another article. 13 feared dead in the volcanic eruption. This just come out an hour ago. New Zealand coast erupted Monday with a towering blast of ash, scalding steam as dozens of tourists were exploring the moon-like surface, killing 5 people, leaving 8 others missing and feared dead. Helicopter crews landed on the White Island despite the danger, helped evacuate the dozens of survivors, some of them critically injured. Hours after the disaster, authorities said the site was still too dangerous for rescuers to search for the missing. So maybe they're just saying they're, you know, in addition to the dead and missing, 31 survivors have been hospitalized. So you got a lot of people that have been affected by this. And the thing is, this thing was already fluming up, man. These so-called experts shouldn't have been taking anybody out there to look at this thing. I mean, we see people falling into these volcanoes all the time. Now, you also got a West Coast earthquake swarm that sparks the scientists' interest. A magnitude 4.5 between Port Orford and Coos Bay on Oregon has scientists very interested because its connection to the big quake forecast in the future. They're all talking about the Cascadia subduction zone and the Pacific Rim and the Juan de Fuca and all that stuff. But what's weird is there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, that's right. On the other side.
Oh, I hate that. But I'm going to get into, there's other volcanoes that are going off right now. Also, if you looked at the thumbnail, man, there was I watched a video today from Hawaii, and they were talking about the Kilauea Crater Lake. Now, the floor of that volcano dropped some 550 meters. As of July 25th, it's getting water in it, and that's not really good. It's about it was on July 25th, the water was about 35 yards deep. Not deep, but the length of it now it's like 520 feet and about 60 feet deep. And they're saying it could go up to 60 yards higher. Now they measured the water temperature in Kilauea. They said it's extremely hot, right around 160 degrees. Now they kept saying there's no sign of imminent recharging of the magma chamber. But we know that whenever you get water, that's not good, because the water will create a explosive quake. And we've seen them before. And with that thing filling up with water, we're talking unprecedented. That hasn't happened in over 200 years with this much surface water going into Kilauea. So if it's a large scale, they call it a gas explosion, that could affect the entire summit region, including any populations that are around that area. And these things, they could be a rapid rising magma, man. There won't be a whole lot of warning. They can happen pretty instant. Now, there is some precursors and rapid intensification of the seismic activity. Well, that's going on right now. So you have increased seismic activity already. Now, the gas-driven explosion, there's usually no warnings with them, and they can't be ruled out. And the sulfur content is so high, even with the fresh water that it's kind of mixing with, it's actually putting a lot of the sulfur into the water well that's around it. So heads up if you're in Hawaii, because there's no telling when that thing might go off. You got, whenever the earthquakes are starting to pop up over there, could be a sign the magma's going. And like I said, with the water in there too, that could lead to a large scale explosion. They call it a gas explosion. And like I said, they haven't had that much water in there in over 200 years. The countdown you're looking at, that's for the YouTube to the 10th. Now I have it Bermuda time. Hey, thanks out there, Swamp Fox. I have it on the 666 Bermuda time, because that's where they have a P.O. box that is 666 Bermuda. You can look it up. I had it on my thumbnail yesterday. Thanks for the support out there. I don't have my phone with me, so I don't know if anybody, I'll try to grab it. I'll give you a shout out tomorrow if you show up on there tonight. So we're at day 269, and the Missouri River finally falls below the flood stage. This has been going on since March 11th. The Missouri River rose from 10.6 feet to a record height of 30.1 feet in 4 days. It remained above flood stage for 269 days. Nebraska City, the Missouri River level at Nebraska fell below flood stage to 17.9 feet. 269 days after the first exceeded flood stage. A flood watch was issued on March 11th when the river was at 10.6 feet, and then it rose 20 feet in the next 4 days. Set a record of 30.1 feet. Now, what led up to the first flood, now, if you go look on my backup channel, I did a lot of videos. I drove up here and got a lot of footage up here in Omaha and the surrounding areas. I mean, the highways, you had to take like a 4-hour detour to get around this flooding. I mean, it was insane. I got tons of video from on the ground there from this flood. I mean, it's still flooded a little bit. You know, the farmlands are now like lakes. I mean, it was horrible. Ruined tons of farmers. And, like, it won't be the same there for a long time. But the reason why the first flood happened is they were using dynamite to break up some ice up in South Dakota, and it ended up breaking the dam. Then it flowed down and broke another dam, and then they sent in the atmospheric river and just filled everything to the hilt, man. Every lake, even the lake I'm on was so full that it made all the rivers run backwards for months. Now people's yards, just, you know, a couple miles up the road from me, their yard still has water in it. It won't go away. It's like the sludge made everything that was low-lying into a floodplain now. So Sydney, down in Australia, Sydney smoke at its worst ever with air pollution in some areas 11 times the hazardous threshold. That looks like Beijing right there. Sydney's air quality index has reached highs 11 times the hazardous levels due to the bushfires on the city's outskirts. The level of air pollution means everyone, regardless of health, should cut back on outdoor physical activity. The worst reading is currently at Macquarie Park in Sydney's northwest, which recorded air quality at 2,214 between 9 and 10 a.m. this morning. You got fears of hot and gusty winds will whip up more mega fires. I mean, it's really bad down there. You got to pray for, I mean, that kind of mask ain't going to help you. You need respirators down there. You need to invest in something that can keep the tiny particulates out, the microns. You need to go look like for OSHA approved, you know, OSHA approved to keep away from the you know, super microscopic stuff. Hey, thanks out there, Swamp Fox News. So anyway, pray for the people down there, man. This is going to be a long-lasting deal here. I mean, we're talking years. Now, we also have water woes. Record water levels continue on the Great Lakes into December. We've been talking about this all year. Lake Superior, 14 inches above average for December. Also been watching bunker fuel operations up there. Lake Michigan, plus 37 inches. Lake Huron, plus 37. Lake Ontario, plus 18. Lake Erie, plus 26. Now, when you get these storm surge and these 75-mile-an-hour winds, just think when the lake starts to freeze and then that wind starts driving it up the banks, it's going to take out houses, you know, trees. It's going to get probably pretty ridiculous up there this winter. So heads up. Now, funny how we called this a couple days ago, or even Sunday, last Sunday. Now they're calling the bombogenesis cyclone travels across Iceland. Life-threatening situation with a significant amount of snow. Let me get a drink here. 100 to 200 centimeters and hurricane force winds across the northern half of the county. December 10th and 11th. So this was the wave weapon I was talking about. We've seen the bunker fuel that was deployed. We're going to see that they're still injecting the skies with aerosols from the planes and the drones. So they're only getting a 1-day warning instead of a week or 2 warning, because we've seen it going. It was in the forecast models. They don't tell the people till the day before, man. You can't. How do you prepare in 1 day? So they, back in August, the Chicago Tribune tested the radio frequency radiation from cell phones, and the Apple iPhone 7 was set to operate at full power as secured below a tub of clear liquid specially formulated to simulate human tissue. With the push of a button, a robotic arm swung into action, sending a pencil-thin probe dipping into the tub. For 18 minutes. It repeatedly measured the amount of radio frequency radiation the liquid was absorbing from the cell phone. This test was paid for by the Tribune and conducted according to federal guidelines. The result, radio frequency radiation exposure from the iPhone 7, one of the most popular smartphones ever sold, measured over the legal safety limit and more than double what Apple reported to the federal regulators from its own testing. The Federal Communications Commission, another alphabet gang, which is responsible for regulating the phones, on its website that if the cell phone has been approved for sale, the device will never exceed the maximum allowable exposure limit. But this phone did just that. So they tested 3 more iPhones, iPhone 7s at full power. They all measured over the exposure limit. 11 models from the 4 companies were tested with varying results. You know, you're getting radio frequency exposure. Same thing that's coming off the Nexrads, the cell phone towers. And, people, if you keep your phone in your pocket, man, you're asking for big time problems. They're saying companies testing new phone compliance with safety limit also are permitted to position the phone up to 25 millimeters away from the body. That's almost an inch. How many people keep their phone an inch away from their head? Especially the asleep people. Man, they got that thing laying on their chest when they're laying down. They got them in their pockets, hooked on their hips, up to their ear. In one phase of the testing, all phones were positioned at the same distance from the simulated body tissue, from 5 to 15 millimeters, depending on the model. For Apple, the test at 5 millimeters. Yeah, people often carry phones closer to the body in their pockets. See, people don't know that the old phones, you picked them up, put them up to your ear. Yeah, there's a guy laying there with a phone on him. People don't know about this, man. You wonder why everybody's getting cancer, especially like ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, like I had. A lot of it could be these. Now we got different kinds of radiation. You got the gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet, visible light, infrared waves, microwaves, radio waves. They're all not good for you. Our bodies are like little electrical cells, man. Our tissue is affected by all this stuff. But yet they want to push even worse stuff at us, so that we all need to build our houses into verde cages. Just take, for instance, your microwave. Your microwave has a shield on the front door with little holes in it. That's like a verde cage. That's like a verde or a... we need to figure out what that material is made out of and wrap your house in that stuff. Another article coming out about the high-speed rail down in Australia. The plan. I think I might have went over this last night. But this is the new world order plan. You see that you can check out all their railways, and they're all going in the same place as the fires. Stage 1, land at question Political mandate. They're going to take the land. Look, stage 2, land entitlement. They'll just take the land. Infrastructure. You know, this is going to be the stack and pack. There's going to be no-go zones everywhere. Like, they're going to take huge swaths of land and call it natural habitat. Humans won't be allowed. That's the goal. We keep talking about the depopulation, the eugenics programs, what seems to be working. The U.S. birth rates are the lowest in 3 decades, despite improving economy. What's the economy have to do with it? The provisional report released Wednesday, 99% of U.S. birth records found at 3.88 million births last year was the 4th year where the numbers have fallen, lower than 1986. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this. I'm not going to get into all that. I'll put the links if you want to read into all that. So they come up with a new name for the bunker fuel operations off the coast and the intentional heat anomalies from the bunker fuels and the chemtrails. They call it the new marine heat wave, known as the blob, spotted again off the west coast. A massive, warmer than normal pool of water that's formed in the Pacific off the Washington coast may already be wreaking havoc on our weather. If you want to call it the blob 2.0, man, it's there when they put it there. In fact, we could go look at it real quick. Let's go look at the blob, see what's going on. Is the blob here? All you gotta do is go. We got a big wave weapon out there. There it is. There's the blob. We didn't have blobs out here till after Fukushima. But what they're doing is they're creating the cloud decks, which is trapping the heat in. That's what's causing these heat anomalies. You know, that's all Fukushima over there. And I still don't know what's going on over here on the East Coast. I think that's right in the shipping lanes. Let me see where the currents are. And then let me put that back. Yeah, not really, man. Kind of, but not really. So I don't know why there's heat anomalies up there, but these are intentional. They kind of come and go. We could always go back to last year at this time and just see what it looked like. You know, not as bad. Super heat anomaly over there. So this thing is, you know, this is where they're heating. They're deploying all the bunker fuel, and then it's mixing in with all these other areas. And then they could also be using satellite weaponry to heat it up. But they're going to call it the marine heat wave or the blob. Stupid names. It's coming out of the CIA. The international aspects of weather modification. It's come out on December 15, 2016. They released the document released on March 6, 2002, so pretty old. Public date August 1st, 1972. I'll leave this link. I don't want to get in to read all this stuff here. Now, let me see. I think that's... Oh, so we also have this eruption warning for Russia as the Avinsky sitting on the Pacific Ring of Fire wakes up. Now, I did load up all the active volcanoes on the Google Earth, but I was having a hard time getting the stream going, so I had to shut the Google Earth down. Maybe here at the end I can load them up. We go take a look at them. So, you know, we caught this one last year that popped off, and we got some of the craziest footage on the worldview map. Wonder if it has a date. We could actually go back and find it again, or I can just go back. Look, I'll try to look through my old videos and try to find the crazy footage we got off the Earth null. Then we can see right here the White Islands went off. Japan, you got one ongoing. Indonesia, ongoing. Ibeco, in Russia, ongoing. Mount Etna in Sicily, Italy, ongoing. Indonesia, Kamchatka, Russia, ongoing. Indonesia, Chile, Mexico, Peru, Indonesia, same one, Kamchatka in Russia, Fox Islands up in Alaska, and then another one in Italy. Tons of volcanic stuff in there, all kind of popping off at the same time. So pretty crazy, man. What was this article? Environmental health. Accessing the direct occupational and public health impacts of solar radiation management with stratospheric aerosols. Here's another document here for the environmental health, talking about the geoengineering that they're doing, the large-scale manipulation of the environment processes. I'll leave this one in there too. But it talks about everything that they're doing now. They talk about bouncing the radiation out. This is some of the things that they use, the SRMs. I mean, we talk about this nightly, show the documents, but here's just another document that it's going on, and they're trying to keep it hid from you. So pretty lengthy document here. That'll be in the description when we get done here. And yeah, I was just looking at the white volcano thing on the maps. We don't need that. Done with that one. Done with the eruption warning. All right, one more article, and then we'll get into the yes, the one in New Zealand is still going off. It's been going off since about the 2nd. I'm going to show you here in a little bit on that one, and hopefully show you some of the weird stuff we found. So I don't know if you guys ever heard about the U.S. Army project CD-22, the Operation White Coat Story, biological warfare and human subjects. So from 1954 through 1973, approximately 2,300 servicemen were trained as medics for the 91st Bravo School. These young Americans were contentious objectors because of their religious beliefs. However, their strong patriotic conviction made their service to the country high priority. As a result, this group volunteered as participants and placed their lives and well-being on even scarier harm's way in America's little-known Cold War battle to protect our fighting troops in a threat of germ warfare. We see germ warfare going on right now all across everywhere. The project was known as Operation White Coat. So these soldiers, man, they were actually just human guinea pigs. So the experiments developed of vaccines to protect the American troops at risk to exposure of biological agents, infectious diseases on the battlegrounds in Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Desert Shield. So what they did, these experiments expanded. I'm trying to find where I was wanting to get to with this. But anyway, these were the first guys not really probably the first, but the first ones, at least at this time. And in 1968-69, many of the White Coat volunteers participated in the development of a Rift Valley fever virus vaccine, which then all the troops got, hit with that after that. In 1977, a major outbreak of the Rift Valley fever in Egypt involved over 200,000 humans and all the sheep. It caused 2,000 human deaths and enormous loss of sheep. Egypt and Israel found out that the RFV vaccine was the only one that had been tested for safety in humans. So, basically what they're saying here is the U.S. government, gave their own men this Rift virus and then tried to give them vaccines to fight it. But then all of a sudden they used this Rift virus as a weapon in Egypt. So, just crazy stuff, man. We keep finding these articles. People keep sending me stuff like this. It's just crazy stuff here. All right, so here we are looking at the volcano down in New Zealand and the White Island volcano. And we're back here on November 29th, 2019. We can see it was spewing smoke then. Let's just go up a day at a time. November 30th, still spewing, still spewing. Big old fat liner going over. Here we are on the 3rd. So this thing, it kind of died down on the 4th. Started smoking again lightly on the 5th. Kind of died down again. Then the 7th. And then here we go on the 8th, man. You can see it's weird kind of red smoke, probably from all the sulfur in there. And here is today. And now I tried to find that. Let me see if I can get to this here. There was some strange stuff in the clouds going on down here. Now they deleted the data back when it first went off on the 2nd. See, there's no data from the 2nd. Or actually, this is 12/3. 12/3. Let's see, 12/4. See, they're hiding the data when the, oh no, we got 12/4. Let me go back, see. So the 2nd and the 3rd, they took off the data. It won't load. So all we got's the 4th up till today. But as I was going through this, man, I found some weird cloud anomaly. This is the same place we seen that like monkey face down here. But there's some more weird stuff I found. Look at these little aerosols being deployed. That guy did like a U-turn. This is on the 4th. So let me fast forward this on up because there's some weird stuff in the clouds I want to show you. Let me back it up here. And hopefully I'll be able to zoom in for you. Let me find that. I made a video of it, but I didn't get it loaded into the broadcaster. All right, here it is. And I hope you guys could see this. Now let me try to zoom the screen in. Oh man, now I messed up. Check out this weird thing. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's just like a rocket shot up from underneath the water, and you can see the triangle shadow. I mean, this looks like the projectile of the Paradise Fire. It's really freaky looking. I don't know if I can zoom in. Let me hide that. Now you can probably see it, but it's right there. You can see the big triangle, just a small, like a rocket comes shooting up from the ocean because we're out in the water. Whoa. Whoa, what the heck happened here? I got to unzoom because I don't even know what happened. Oh, man. What the heck is going on? Now I lost the whole stupid thing here. The planet's missing. Whoa, what is going on here? Oh, man. That just messed everything up. It's going to take too long to load. But there was a secondary deal that happens right on the edge of the coast. And it was almost like that, but it had 4 triangles cut out in the cloud. And what is going on with this thing? Okay, there we go. We got it back. All right, so there's the first one. Let me see if I can get this up to the next frame. It's a frame or two later. And it may not go. Man. I should have just put the video in here into the broadcaster, but it was freaking out too. All right, so we're not, it's just going to take too long. I'll do something with it later. Let me just get out. That thing ain't even running. All right, so yesterday we're over here looking at California. This is the West Coast. I'm going to show you the bunker fuel operations. And if you can see all these light white lines here, these are all the bunker fuel operations that are right up against the coast. You got some right up against the coast. Now watch where they go. Now this goes into the night. And then here we go. We're starting to come up into the day. Look, they're all way down here off the Bajas. I'll try to get a better look, but they're all down here off the Bajas now. So the whole fleet of ships have gone way down south. Let me see if we can get an expanded view of this. Here, we'll try this lower one. Nice crowd out here on YouTube. Thanks everybody out there to super chat and PayPalers if anybody sent anything. I don't have my phone up here, so I can't chat yet. Look, there's one ship just right there off the coast of California. There's a whole crap load of ships out there. So that was actually yesterday, and then here we should be going in today. Look where they're at, man. There's a huge fleet out here of bunker fuel. See, the atmospheric river has dropped too far south, so they must be trying to pull it back towards Southern California. I mean, that's a mass amount of ships. If you didn't know, just 13 of these ships out here are putting off the most toxic emissions on the planet. There's one right there. But we're talking more. 13 of these vessels put off more emissions than every car in the world combined. That's how toxic this stuff is. All right, let's go ahead and just jump into the worldview. Might as well check this out while we're here. Now there's let me get over to here we go. Here's the fires going on down here in New Zealand. Oh, we got bunker fuel operations. We make sure we're on the right day here. So it's not just us getting it. Trying to find the best layer to do it. So we can see the bunker fuel is right down here. Here's one, here's one. And I'm pretty sure there was one right up against the coast that I could see real good. It was probably a different layer. Yeah, so here's, here's one, here's two. These yellow kind of long billowing lights. They're hard to see when you don't have the right layer on, unless they're just kind of out in the open. Then you can see the billowing smoke. What's cutting a line through the clouds right there? At first that looks like a black chemtrail, which it may have been a jet flying through here. But whatever it was, it cut the cloud in half. See, that cut the cloud in half, man. Just whapped off a hunk of it. Let's try a different layer. See, them clouds change so fast. Look at that. You basically got morning, noon, and night. So tons of aerosols down here along with the bunker fuel for Australia. And, when you see the fires and the aerosols all going at the same time, they're all connected. Look at all the segmented spraying going on. If you could see that. So them planes are probably headed for New Zealand. All right, let's just check the layers. Trying to look. The wind keeps changing direction over here. Uh-oh, I see another vortex of the algae bloom right here. So the algae blooms are like circulating like a at least I haven't noticed that one before. Usually they're out. Look, it was almost like a solid piece right there. And now it's like it's spinning like somebody pulled the drain out of the bathtub. So there's been some weird stuff like that going on over here, especially off the New Zealand coast. We got aerosols all over Queensland and microwaves and fires. So actually the smoke is not looking as bad as it was yesterday. I don't know if they're slowing down at all, but the wind, like I said, the wind keeps changing direction. Now it's blowing south. Yeah, I wish they would run out of the sprays, but they got all kinds of coal fly ash they could use. You know, there's a lot of things they could be spraying us with. Lithium. That's one of the biggest lithium exporters right here in Australia. So we're just kind of, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, just kind of looking. If I see something major, I'll zoom down there. Oh, we got the typhoon still here over Madagascar. They got fires on one side and a man-made typhoon weapon on the other side. Aerosols. You got major flooding going on in Africa. In fact, I do have another clip that I haven't pulled up, which I'll pull that one up. I'll pull that one up tomorrow. I'll have it up in the beginning feed. Devastating flooding going on. So I really thought I had this kind of loaded. Okay, so here we go. So it looks like we're getting a new spraying operation over here in the Mediterranean. Nasty looking stuff. Portugal is getting hit. See, here comes the storm. And yesterday, you know, France was getting pounded. Look, they're all covered with the clouds. And here they are. They're out here setting it up again. Setting up the next wave of storms. Here comes the bomb cyclone for Ireland and the UK. We better check the wave weapon again, see if they got the waves coming in. Man, them look like bunker fuel right there. Hold on, let me look. Could just be the wind currents. Nope, we have bunker fuel out here. So now we have a few ships out here in the Atlantic. Remember, they were out here before this bad weather got here. Now it looks like they're going back to port, reloading on the bunker fuel. So yeah, I thought they were, and yep, sure enough. Nova Scotia's been getting pounded with weather frequencies, chemtrails. What kind of operation is this? What is this stuff? It's like every night we see some kind of new operation. Like, I'm going to screenshot this because we're going to come up with our own names of these different cloud scenarios. Because for one thing, they're not natural. These are not even natural. So I'm going to save them. I just started a folder called Cloud Pictures that we're gonna name them eventually once I get a little bit of them, and then we'll create our own cloud atlas, and we'll post it on social media of the real cloud names. Then that way, if they start censoring us, you know, for what we call clouds, we'll have like our own dictionary of clouds with the true meanings. All right, so here's that storm. Remember we said that this was the area that was sprayed yesterday, actually for the last couple days. Look at the cloud deck. It covers every single area that was sprayed, even all the way down from the Bajas. So everywhere they cloud seeded and dumped out the, you know, artificial clouds, now it's all clouds, every single bit of it. And they're still spraying down here off the Gulf of Mexico. Look, they're already drifting out. See, it looks like they're using a different mix, because this stuff is really expanding out quick, and it's really dirty looking. Over Florida, got the initial X, marks the spot down here. So all of northern Florida is still getting hit. Probably everybody is still getting hit. You just can't see them because of the cloud deck. Like, really, there's no clear state in America right now that doesn't have clouds. So you could almost have to say about, 85% of the United States is covered with man-made synthetic clouds from all the aerosols that have been deployed over the last 2-3 days. Some of that could be snow. But really, man, if we just go back, yeah, so they're still feeding it. I know this thing is jumping around. I mean, it's hard to control. Let's just go back to yesterday, and we'll see where the main aerosols were. So remember yesterday, the main huge spraying operation was all of the Northeast, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, and then the spray all the way from the Bajas up through Mexico, New Mexico, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa. Go back a day before that. It's usually 2 days. They start the aerosols 2 days before you get the rain. So it's not loading all the way. What the heck? So right here, here's where the atmospheric river was. All the aerosols were over here, right through Oklahoma, Louisiana, Gulf of Mexico, right on up. Same area. So everywhere that got sprayed now has all the cloud cover, and it's all man-made. Every bit of it. Nothing's natural anymore. They done ruined the weather cycles. They said that once they started geoengineering the skies, they could never stop. I'll pull that paper out and we'll look into that again. Look at that thing. If that isn't a demonic, dirty looking cloud, what is? That looks like a smoke curtain cloud. I don't think this thing's loaded enough to we'll see here. I'm just trying to see if I can go back to when this cloud formed. I mean, that is really strange right there. So it was all connected. Look at that. It was all connected through the Gulf of Alaska. Just a single heavy dump. And it definitely looks like it could have been an aerosol. Man, hard to say on that. We need to go back and look at the smoke curtain video. Yeah, that's a pretty horrible looking cloud for sure. All right, that's probably all I'm going to cover on this today. All right. We already looked at that. Oh, here's the other thing I was wanting to there's a storm out here in Australia, just north of Australia. And they're going to block the storm, man. This is the storm that could put the rain out. And it was trying to head for Australia, but it looks like they're going to kill it off. Look at that. It's just right there, man. They could call David Miles. He could pull that baby right on down and put the fires out. So here it's showing a little bit of rain on the 11th in the fire zone. But man, usually that thing would be spinning. You have all these low pressures over here. That thing should be coming right on into land. The high pressures are way down south where the bunker fuel operations are. Same thing on our west coast. You always see the bunker fuel on the edge of the high pressures, and then all of a sudden they split off like a low pressure system, which sends the weather or splits the jet stream. Guess we could go take a look at all the aerosols, since we already covered the bunker fuel. All right, let's see if we get to load. Put on the enhancement. So yes, artificial clouds cover most of America tonight. One more day and see if we're still around. I mean, who knows? I watched a video from YouTube the other day that they said all the changes were just going to be like changes in the studio. They were trying to clarify that they weren't going to be taking a bunch of channels out, but not when you listened to the lady, the Google CEO. They were saying they've already got rid of millions of comments, millions of channels. And tomorrow we'll really find out. Look at that ghost looking cloud up there. Tons of aerosols coming in through Idaho, Washington, ahead of the next system. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this short, this broadcast short tonight, Monday night. Mondays always suck, so. Anyway, we're going to play a song called Rise, Armor Up, No Fear, and we'll catch you tomorrow, God willing. A fall streak cloud. I think I've heard of it, but I'll look into it. We just went over the jet streak cloud yesterday. Anyway, guys, much love. Here we go. Gonna jump on there, and we'll catch you tomorrow, God willing. No fear. Rise up. Wake somebody up every day, because we're running out of time. Anyway, we'll see if we're here tomorrow. How much time's left on that timer? I can't see it because there's a thumbnail in the way. Anyway, tomorrow's the 10th. It's the 10th right now in Bermuda at 666 Bermuda, where the alphabet, what are they called now? The alphabet or whatever they are. Google. Anyway, guys, much love. I'm off here, man. I can't even talk no more.